Thank you.
Man, bro.
I guess I'm going to have to, unless somebody else wants to take minutes, I should be taking a minute. That one doesn't. All right. In attendance, we'll have to show that Mary Jo and Clerk Comer are absent. I'll try to take notes too, just in case. Okay, we do have a quorum, so we can continue on with the agenda. Okay, first thing is presentations and public comment. And what the planning commission did was absolutely phenomenal. They allowed comment, non-agenda items to start. That way, everybody gets a comment later on the agenda items that were discussed or covered by the board. As far as limitations, hopefully you guys can limit down to specific points, maybe 3 minutes each, handing off of your time to somebody else to do that. And if you have similar things, if you guys came as a group and everybody's going to take 3 minutes, if you guys can have a representative to make your presentation, that would be appreciated. But are there any presentations that need to be
For non-agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple things on for the non-agenda items. I'd like to understand better how Big Rock property was taken over by someone else. I think you owe all of us an in-depth explanation of that. I want to know an in-depth about the dollar purchase for whatever we purchased from you going towards that bridge. We don't have any particulars, and I think we need to know all that information. And then there was a third one. What was that? Well, if you could go on to anybody else, and if I remember the third one, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. That's West Street. Thank you. Is that what you have in here?
No, I don't know. Until I hear the meeting, I don't know if I want more or not. We have to speak for the first one? We have to pull them out for just to speak?
No, but it is good.
That's after
because I
the
know
meeting.
how-
That's after the meeting, after
Yep.
you go through this and.
Yep. Phil, you're supposed to be number one. Take your spot.
That's all after the meeting.
This is all after the meeting.
That's
You
what
have
mine's
nothing,
for.
okay.
Yeah.
Brenda, did you have something? that
Yeah,
was-
I had wrote down there on the bridge.
Yep.
She had touched base a little bit on the bridge, but I had just heard that the bridge was purchased for $1. I know that there's a lot of work that has to be done to this bridge to maintain it, which is thousands and thousands of dollars. If the township purchased the bridge for $1, do we, the taxpayers, now have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to maintain this bridge or fix the bridge? For what? For who?
The bridge was put in there by the Snowmobile Club in Canada Creek. It was not anything that the landowners did. It was done by permission, and it was maintained, I guess, by the Snowmobile Club as a snowmobile connector, for a connector route.
They used to close the gates when the snowmobile season was out. And I think that the snowmobile club still retains the rights to that bridge because they still give insurance on that route. For
So the county, we didn't buy it for $1?
the land, the land that the bridge is on, I don't know what the, I never owned the bridge. So the bridge was never, I mean, it was on the property, but it was done with an easement through the snowmobile club.
So who's actually responsible for the upkeep to that bridge?
That I'm unsure. I would assume we'd have to get a hold of the snowmobile club up in Canada Creek.
Okay, because I want to just make sure that the land that was purchased by this community, who was voted on by you guys, right?
Correct.
Okay, that we, the taxpayers, aren't responsible for the upkeep to that bridge, that we didn't have a say-so on.
What was our reasoning to acquire the property?
In the master plan and also in the zoning ordinances, it is to try to utilize the trails connectivity to town so that Phil's patrons and your patrons have an opportunity to use their ATVs and have.
And they could have still drove over the bridge and went down the road.
You asked me a question, now let me finish. And allows them to get in and out of town for the businesses in our downtown district. And I believe that's why the bridge was put in there originally. I wasn't here when that was put in, and I don't know exactly who put it in. I do know that when it was left open for the ATVs, we did have to call the snowmobile club, and they came and granted us permission to keep it open during the summer, as long as the township took care of it. But I'm sure the gates can be closed in the off-season for snowmobiles again. But it does deny access for all of these businesses to the trail system.
Okay, so can you look into who's responsible for maintaining that bridge?
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure that we, the taxpayers, don't end up responsible if that was to collapse or anything else, because we didn't vote on it. We didn't know anything about it.
Okay. That may result in the bridge's removal. I just letting you know, if we dig into it and then whoever owns it decides that they want to remove it, that may be removed and we may never get another one.
Well, then that's a catch-22.
Okay.
Will they remove it, or
I
do
don't
you
know.
better want to be responsible for
As
thousands
it stands now, the
upon
township owns the property,
As it stands now, the township owns the property.
so they're liable for anything that goes on that property. Whether somebody else has an easement to it or not, doesn't release the township from that liability.
Correct. The township always
So
had,
it was an illegal sale because the township didn't vote on it.
the township always had an easement through there.
So what did we buy from you for $1?
I'm sorry?
What did we buy from
The
you?
easternmost 66 feet of lot 2, which is 4 feet less than the township's easement that they had through there. So there's actually, it's 4
We'd like to
feet
see
more.
all this documentation.
But it's still an illegal sale.
The attorneys were involved in the sale from step one, I do believe. I did not involve myself, but I'm sure that the clerk was quite.
Other than bringing them up to sell it to us for $1.
It was brought before the board and offered to the board, and the board accepted it. I didn't vote on it either.
Well, you can't create a liability for the township without a vote of the township people.
So where does that leave us?
I don't understand that. Can you show me where that is?
I can give you the MCL number later.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, that's 3 comments. Are there any other comments?
I think if you look under MCL 41.3 or 43.1.
MCL, I'm sorry, 43.1?
Yeah, 41.3 or 43.1.
Okay. Appreciate it. Okay, well, we'll move to the minutes then. I need a motion to approve either separately or together the minutes of the June 15th meeting and the special meeting of 9/11/2020.
I'll make that motion to accept both minutes as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion and a second to support, or to, motion and a second to support, to adopt both sets of minutes and approve them. All in favor? Those opposed? The motion passed.
Is there a reason that there's no minutes for those meetings in this packet?
No. You don't have them in your packet.
No. Minutes are not in my documents.
Does everybody else's have them? You have a board packet?
Yeah. You do?
It would be-
June, I don't have September.
The September should be a third one, state. Yep. You didn't get them? Well, I apologize, I'll give them to you, or you can have my copy.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Are you all in that?
I tried to get it,
They're
make sure they were all correct.
I don't know how they got it.
All right, treasurer's report. Mary?
In the 15-month certificate through AAA for the general fund is $49,949.41. The balance in the general fund is $13,295.92. The expenditures were $32,066.38, and the revenue was $6,968.27, and that's for the general fund. The water fund, the money market through AAA credit union is $35,338.34, with a balance in revenue of $42,908.60 for the water fund. The road fund, money market is $181,238.90. The balance in the road fund is $27,339.74. The tax fund is $145,2213. Revenue was $253,592.76. The expenditures was $210,812.02 with a balance of $187,802.87.
Thank you. Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
I'll support it, since you, motion in a second. To receive and file the treasurer's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed.
I don't have it in my packet.
We don't have, she just gave an oral. She's got copies, I'm sure.
It bothers me when I heard 13,000 in the general fund. Thank you, ma'am.
But there's almost
159 in the money market.
Okay,
in the money market.
we've got a huge stack since June of bill approvals. These have been paid from previous motions to approve paying the bills during the COVID emergency. They're all provided for everybody's convenience and transparency. Part of everybody, should be part of everybody's packet if you got work there. And they're, as far as I know,
motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
And support?
Support.
Okay, motion by Mary. Second by Mark. Okay, here's a motion and a second. All those in favor? I'm sorry, roll call vote. We got to, Mary,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Sorry about the lag time, but I want to make sure that these are, this meeting's recorded correctly. Okay, now approvals to the planning commission. They made quite a few changes at the planning commission level. Planning commission is an offshoot of the township board and does the planning for the township. It is its own entity, but its movements and activities are approved by the board. So the first thing that we need to look at is the repagination of Chapter 6, which is not a big deal, it's just repagination. No language has been changed, but it's included just for the sake of, why not, since we're doing the other ones, just vote on accepting repagination of the Friday Township Master Plan, Chapter 6.
Are those available for us in the township
Where the board
website?
packet.
The changes of chapter 6?
They've already made the changes and they've had their public hearings. We're just accepting them here at the township. Correct?
Yep, we had quite an interesting long meeting. It was a good meeting, actually.
So yes, everything's available. So if you've had an opportunity to take a look at the repagination.
Not what, I just asked if those changes are available, other than at the public hearing, because nobody knew about it. Are they available on the website?
I don't know if they incorporated them onto the website yet or not.
How do I get a copy?
You can have it.
Is that those changes and the original?
Yeah, repagination, all the changes.
This is what was submitted to the board from the planning commission, these were the changes. So is there a motion to approve the changes to Chapter 6 of the master plan?
So moved.
Support?
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion in a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion passed. Okay, the second thing from the planning commission, I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
I wish I could just use the initials. No, it's not good. It's gonna look like Mary if I do that. Okay, site plan review procedures. Once again, they went through proper procedures for changing their site plan review procedures. It's here in front of the board for review and adoption and approval. I've had the opportunity to review what everybody else says, look for a motion and support to approve or disapprove.
Just a comment, these are very common sense changes, just to bring it up the standard. So there's nothing controversial here. There's, it's cleaning up of a lot of things that no longer made sense, so.
Make the motion.
Mary?
Support.
Okay, motion and support for approving the proposed site plan review procedures from the planning commission. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So passed.
Okay, planning commission bylaws. They also updated their bylaws. And sent the amendment for the township's review and approval. Is there any changes that are out of the ordinary, Mark, that you would?
No, essentially, again, it's common sense, it's codification of the rules of which we didn't necessarily follow. And again, Gordon kind of led this, he's a master planner, this is his bailiwick, he knows his stuff. So he's essentially making it consistent with other townships. Again, it's just more cleanup than anything, it's nothing earth-changing in any of this.
Is there support to approve planning commission bylaws?
Move the motion.
I'll support it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Special land use procedures. Once again, still from the planning commission. I'm glad you guys are doing this because there has been a lot of confusion and a lot of bumpiness when anybody tries to do anything here. And I'm glad you guys are cleaning it up and making it better, or as clear and concise of a path as possible. I also read these and I don't have an issue with any of it, it looks good. I'm looking for support to approve.
Make the motion.
Thank you, is there support?
Support.
Hearing a motion in a second, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, through planning commission stuff, which is the bill. Okay, authorization to sign for Wolverine right away. Wolverine has picked up and been our electrical provider for a while now. And what they found in their endeavors here is they're upgrading their power lines. And in doing so, they're also updating their easements and right-of-ways that were recorded many years ago. I have October 6th of 1951 is when this was originated. And I don't even think it was Wolverine Electric, it's Northern Michigan Electric Co-op. But anyway, these are for the main transition lines. Briley Township does own a couple 40s up in the rec area that the transmission lines run through. The original easement did not describe exactly where the lines were going to run through. So it was a blanket easement over the entire 40 acres. And they do not want an easement over the 40 acres. They want an easement that is basically just the power lines and enough to maintain the power lines. So they had a survey done of the existing easement, which is here, it's Exhibit A. And they just changed the language in an updated version of the easement to the agreement to identify where the easement runs. And there's also a little bit of footage or money by the foot for cooperating with this and agreeing to this easement, which already exists. It's just they're actually shrinking it off the 40 acres and only putting it onto the line space. And I don't know if they have 100 feet or whatever it is, and that's what all they want. They don't want the entire 40 acre easement. So that's what this is. It's
What
taking
do they
this.
want them to pay for that?
What's that?
What are they paying for that?
It's like 34 cents a foot, and it's approximately 1,000 feet. So we're looking probably at $340.
So exciting. Have you checked with any other townships to see what they have received in issues like this?
I have not, but
I have not dug into it. He was very forthcoming and said that he's doing the same price, same amount for every property that this line goes through. It's just a standard blanket, they don't negotiate. If we don't want to do this, they'll just continue with the easement around the whole 40 acres.
Do they, you have maps of this?
Yeah, just this one, easement. So basically, it's a 334 cent a foot, or whatever it was.
Okay. If you look at the infringement of that footprint, of that right away, how does it work for or against the township?
Come on
I don't know if that'll give it all.
That's all right. No, come on up here. Basically, the 40 acres, they have the easement rights over the entire 40 acres. Okay, they ran the line through the corner of the 40.
Got it.
All they want is the 100 feet stretch where the line goes.
And there's nothing on either side?
Yes, they're, well, not ours, but there are other properties.
I just want to be
Correct.
clear.
Correct. They might run into Comer's property. That's it.
So it really doesn't affect the township?
Correct. We're just getting what little per footage for the space that it goes under.
Okay. Anybody else want to look at those?
We had to do the same thing down the road commission. They're just updating tiles and stuff.
Did you get 34 cents a foot? Something like that?
Yeah,
I'm
I
guessing,
can't remember. That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm guessing they don't want the liability either, because if they have that easement, then technically they have that liability too, so.
So what they did, they don't have everything together yet, and they didn't think they would by the time this meeting came about. They have a sample reaffirmation and amendment to the easement rights, but that's not a final draft, and they wouldn't have it ready before then. So I told them that we were having the meeting and would entertain a pre-approval if he wanted to put one together, and he did so. Basically, it's in your board packet. It has the changes and highlights, if you have a board packet, they're in there. It would amend the original easement from a blanket easement to a survey route specific description. He would release the easement rights on the property outside the easement strip. Restrict building new structures on the easement strip for safety reasons. That's common on every easement. It would reaffirm and clarify existing rights already granted by the original easement, including operation and repair of the power line, which they already have. Wolverine will compensate each property a nominal amount based on linear distance. So,
Bruno, were they paying for the whole 40 acres before?
when they first came through, it looked like it was $1 for each 100 feet. So it looks like it was a penny a foot that they paid for the original easement. From what I see. That's what, I have the original easement, so that's what I'm reading off of, back from 1959. So they paid a penny a foot originally. So I'm looking for a motion to pre-approve the township board, because it's going to have all three signatures, the clerk, the treasurer, and the clerk.
Yeah, the motion is contingent upon, this is just a pre-approval. There's a final
Correct.
one that's going to come.
There's a final draft coming, correct.
And what if that takes place after the election?
He was looking days from now, so we'll have another meeting.
Timeframe was.
We can now do this, it's not a big deal. He just wanted it done so we can check off his things.
I mean, if it's beneficial to the community, that's fine. I have no issues with that. My only concern is if you put something in there that's going to be after the election and your signatures are on there and ours aren't, that's an issue. You have to get into all of them, get elected.
No, you bring up a good point, Phil. We'll clean this up before it takes place.
Okay.
Yep. So this was just an idea.
that's all that's there. If you want to wait and have a special meeting to do this afterwards, or slide it into a special, that's fine too, once you have the completed document. Okay. So we just won't move on that, unless there's a motion and it's support.
I'd rather wait.
That's fine. They're just trying to knock off as many as they can, as fast as they can. Okay, board reports. I'm gonna start, I have this. Mount Morenci Township Association is not having a meeting this year due to COVID and the concerns, because just about everybody there is older than me, and I feel young when I'm at these things, but that's not the reason why. The COVID and the distancing and the elections coming up actually is the biggest thing, because we normally have them in October. There's just so much election work that is buried on the things. Elections have been absolutely horrendous. The primaries were bad. These are going to be even worse as far as time consumption within the township.
I was reading the MTA magazine this weekend. I was surprised there were over 1,500 voting districts. Each one of them is independent. There's no state oversight. I was shocked. So this election is going to be interesting, would be likely putting it.
I have the Wolverine stuff. They sent plenty of documentation for the 2 year and more. But yeah, we can wait for the final contract. That's not a problem. Just let me know. I think that's about all I have for my board reports. Haven't been anywhere. All meetings are either canceled or everything that I was involved in has been pretty much shut down by COVID. Everything's slow. Other than, I can report that October 2nd is the cutoff date for the bids on the park sidewalk repairs and a few other things on the DNR Trust Fund grant. So we will probably have a special meeting soon as we get bids in hand that are approved by the DNR, and that we can open them and then award some bids to get things done and completed by the end of the year. So that's a priority, so we will probably have a special meeting as soon as we get the bids to be open. And so we can view what's there and who dealt us what blow. It's been tough getting anybody to work and get these things completed. Once again, the COVID's there, nobody knows what they can and can't do. So it's been kind of tough getting even the bids, and everybody's working at home. The engineers are working from home, and it's just been really